I had to wait a while, but Mephisto has finally arrived, and today I'm going to be checking out what's in the box, building the model, and breaking down all the tricks and schemes he brings to the game. You may already be familiar with Mephisto as a character, and if you are, then you know that he is known for being a master manipulator, and whilst I have to admit I am not an encyclopedia of Marvel comic history, I do know that Mephisto is known for his cunning schemes and has been known to trick many heroes into wicked deals for his benefit. When I first saw the preview for Mephisto, I thought Atomic Mass Games had done a great job of trying to incorporate these traits into his rules, and we're going to go into that later. So first, let's check out what's in the box. Okay, so let's get this box open. Oh, keep dropping everything today. So here we have our cards first and our Devil's Deal tokens. We'll go on to that later and discuss those. Then we have our bag of sprues, or one sprue in this case. And then obviously the last thing is the expected credit sheet. Oh, keep dropping everything. Yeah, so we have the expected credit sheet here, picture of the model, and then on the back we have the QR code for the assembly instructions. I'm just throwing everything all over the place. Okay, so let's open this up and have a good look at the sprue. Well, actually, I didn't realise it was a sculpted base. I thought it was just going to be a standard base and you'd stick parts on, a little bit like how Rogue is and how Sunspot was. So that's really cool. I like that. Not too many pieces, to be honest. I expected it to be a more complicated build. I'm not sure why. It is only one man, so it should be simple, but that's good. Obviously, we have all of the additional languages, so I'm just going to sort those out, and then we'll take a look at the cards in a moment. Okay, so I've sorted out the cards and laid everything out. Let's first take a look at this stat card. We will go through the rules as usual doing the build, but we'll just have a quick look at the card and the artwork. I'm always a big fan of the AMG artwork. I think it's really good. So then we have our team tactics cards. So we have Up the Ante, Brand New Day, Embrace the Inferno, and Devil's Reckoning. Also, we've got four team tactics cards there for Mephisto. So like I say, we will go through what all of these cards do, but for now we're just looking at the artwork. Then, as I mentioned, we have the Devil's Deal tokens, really integral to Mephisto's rules, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So that's everything in the box. We have the sprue, the Devil's Deal tokens, credit sheet, one stat card, and 4 team tactics cards. So let's move on to the build now and we can discuss his rules in depth. While I build the model, let's take a look at what cunning schemes Mephisto has in store, starting with the healthy side of his stat card. So Mephisto, Lord of Temptation, 3 physical defense, 4 energy defense, and 4 mystic defense. He has 7 stamina. He's a 5 threat. He's size 3 with a medium move. I do feel that to understand the fundamental mechanics of Mephisto, we need to first take a look at his first innate superpower, Demonic Contract. This character may have a maximum of 3 Devil's Deal tokens at any time, and begins the game with 1 Devil's Deal token. During the power phase, this character gains 1 power for each Devil's Deal token it has. This is the essential mechanic of how Mephisto operates. The more Devil's Deal tokens Mephisto gains, the more power you can generate each round, and they can also be used to help pay for other superpowers as well. Okay, so let's look at his 3 possible attacks now, the first of which is Hellfire Lash. It's a range 3, 6 dice energy attack, costing 0 power. After this attack is resolved, this character gains 1 power. And then there's a trigger here with a wild for Incinerate. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the Incinerate special condition. Nothing too unusual here, a reasonably strong attack, but you do only gain 1 power regardless of damage. A relatively easy trigger with just the 1 wild needed to incinerate. But yeah, a solid attack with a guaranteed power at the end of it, allowing you to get some superpowers off in the first round. Next we have Infernal Bargain, which is a range 2 6 dice mystic attack costing 0 power. After this attack is resolved, if damage was dealt, this character gains a Devil's Deal token. If this attack would deal 1 or more damage, it deals 1 damage instead. Still a decent 6 dice attack, but as you will only ever deal a maximum of 1 damage to your opponent, the focus here is really generating that Devil's Deal token. The 6 dice obviously increases the odds of you doing the needed damage, and crucially is the only way for Mephisto to gain tokens outside of team tactic cards, so you are going to be using this attack a lot during the course of a game. So his final big spender attack is Termination Clause, and this is a range 4 beam energy attack, and it costs 5 power. It's 6 dice as standard. For each Devil's Deal token this character has, add 1 die to its attack rolls for this attack. So this can go up to a maximum of a 9 dice attack. After each attack is resolved, the target character gains the Incinerate special condition. Again, giving out that Incinerate, but this time it's guaranteed, you don't need a trigger for it. You want to be using this once you have managed to gain as many Devil's Deal tokens as you can, making it up to that maximum 9 dice attack. Being able to not only do a 9 dice attack, but to also inflict that attack on multiple enemies while dishing out a guaranteed Incinerate is pretty huge, and if you use it at the right time, you can do a lot of damage to your opponent. So moving on to his superpowers now, and we'll start with his active superpowers. So we'll start with Devil's Due, costing 1 power. Choose an enemy character within range 3 of this character, spend 1 Devil's Deal token. If you do, roll 5 dice for each wild rolled. The target character loses 1 power, and this character gains 1 power. Then, for each hit rolled, the target character suffers 1 damage. A character may be affected by this superpower only once per turn. So this will cost you 1 power and a Devil's Deal token, but essentially acts as a third 5 dice attack on your turn. Granted, it's limited, as it only takes hits and wilds into account, but it's an opportunity to possibly deal extra damage outside of your 2 actions. Next we have How Can I Be of Service, which is also an active superpower, and this will cost you 2 power. Choose an enemy character within range 3, place this character within 1 of it, then this character makes an Infernal Bargain attack targeting that character. This superpower can be used only once per turn. A great way to bring opponents into range of your Infernal Bargain attack, and does allow you to use that attack without using up one of your actions. Okay, so moving on to his reactive superpowers now. We have Meet My Associate, costing 1 power. When this character is targeted by an attack, it may use this superpower. Spend 1 Devil's Deal token. If you do, choose another allied character within range 3 and place it within range 1 of this character. Then the chosen character becomes the new target of the attack, regardless of range and line of sight. This to me is almost like a reverse bodyguard, as you are forcing one of your allies to take the hit for you rather than protecting them. It will cost you 1 of your Devil's Deal tokens in addition to the power costs, but it is a great mechanic to help keep Mephisto in the game, especially with his physical defense being just 3. If you have an ally who has something like Healing Factor or reduces damage after an attack, then it's definitely worth doing, and can also be a way to get some extra movement from an allied character outside of their activation as well. Finally, we have the last innate superpower, which is his immunity, and he's immune to Incinerate and Poison. So in regards to his injured side, as far as I can tell, there are no changes here at all. Mephisto is Cabal and Criminal Syndicate affiliated, and whilst he does not come with a leadership ability on his stat card, he does come with a team tactic card that grants him the leadership for the Legion of the Lost affiliation. So that team tactic card is Devil's Reckoning. When this card is included in your squad, if your squad is unaffiliated and includes Mephisto, Lord of Temptation, he may play this card. Your squad is now using the Legion of the Lost affiliation, regardless of other affiliated characters. Mephisto, Lord of Temptation, gains the following leadership ability. It is your active leadership. So the leadership ability is called Damnation and is as follows. During the cleanup phase, your opponent chooses 1 non-dazed character they control without Incinerate or the Incinerate immunity, the chosen character gains 1 power and the Incinerate special condition. Additionally, during the cleanup phase, choose 2 characters you control. The chosen characters gain 1 power. So from round 2 onwards, you know that you will always start the round with at least 1 enemy character being incinerated. In addition to that, 2 of your allies can get an extra power. Certainly not the strongest leadership in the game, but also not the worst. In addition to his leadership card, Mephisto also comes with 3 other team tactic cards. The first is Up the Ante, which is an unaffiliated reactive card. When another allied character would deal damage to an enemy character with an attack, an allied Mephisto Lord of Temptation may play this card. The enemy character's controlling player chooses one of the following effects. So the first one is, the attack does not deal damage and the enemy character loses that much power instead. For the remainder of the game, Mephisto Lord of Temptation may have up to 5 Devil's Deal tokens instead of the normal 3. Then Mephisto Lord of Temptation gains 2 Devil's Deal tokens. And the second option is, after the attack is resolved, Mephisto Lord of Temptation may remove an activated token from himself. If he does not, return this card to your available team tactic cards instead of discarding it, and this card may be played again this game. So firstly, I just want to say that I really love the idea of this card and how it forces your opponent to make a choice between 2 bad options. It's exactly the kind of card you would expect Mephisto to play. I think as the active player, your preferred outcome here is always going to vary depending on when you play the card. I would say most of the time you would want your opponent to choose option 1. Being able to gain 5 Devil's Deal tokens will benefit you the most for the remainder of the game, and means that Mephisto's Termination Clause attack would be able to reach a maximum of 11 dice instead of 9. However, if they don't choose this option, you don't lose anything, as you can hold on to that card and try and play it later in the game, or activate Mephisto again that round. You may find that it's late in the game, and Mephisto activating again makes all the difference. Next we have Brand New Day, which is also an unaffiliated reactive card. When an enemy character would be dazed or KO'd while within range 3 of an allied Mephisto Lord of Temptation, he may play this card. The enemy character's controlling player chooses one of the following effects. The enemy character is not dazed or KO'd and removes 1 damage, all special conditions, and up to 1 activated token from itself. Additionally, Mephisto Lord of Temptation gains 2 Devil's Deal tokens and removes an activated token from any allied character. And the other option is Mephisto Lord of Temptation removes all damage and special conditions from himself and gains 3 power. Just like the previous card, I love the concept of trying to make a deal with your opponent. However, I do think you have to be very careful about when you use this card. Whilst you could get the opportunity to gain 2 Devil's Deal tokens and reactivate any of your allies, your opponent will get the opportunity to pretty much do the same and will most likely be activating their character before you do, as you will probably be the active player when playing this card. The other thing to think about is that if you just manage to daze one of their strongest characters, do you really want that character activating a second time? Option 2 is great. I just can't see an opponent passing up a chance to save their character for 1 more activation. But perhaps I'm missing something. Let me know if I am. If I had to choose between this card and the previous card, Up the Ante, I think I would take Up the Ante, purely due to the fact that I feel this card allows more benefit to your opponent, and personally I wouldn't want any team tactic card within my 5 benefiting my opponent. And then the final team tactic card is Embrace the Inferno, which again is an unaffiliated reactive card. During the power phase, an allied Mephisto Lord of Temptation may pay 4 power to play this card. All other characters within range 3 of Mephisto Lord of Temptation gain the Incinerate special condition. This round, when an allied character with the Incinerate special condition is attacking, it may re-roll all of its attack dice. If it does and the attack deals damage, it removes the Incinerate special condition after the attack is resolved. In my opinion, this is an okay card. There is potential for you to gain a good advantage with it, especially if you use it on a turn where you have priority. However, 4 power seems a high price to pay for a card that will potentially leave your allies vulnerable to your opponent's attacks. Don't get me wrong, I can see the benefit of this, especially if you manage to remove those Incinerate conditions from your allies. I think you'd be hard pressed to not have an ally within range 3, but it's possible. And if that's the case, then there's only a benefit from this. It does still seem like a lot of power for this ability though. So that's everything that Mephisto brings to Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I honestly can't wait to give him a try. I just love how unique some of the mechanics of this character are, especially the Team Tactics cards. I realise that I've been a bit negative on a couple of those cards, and it may be that when I play them I find that they're better than I think at first glance, and that always tends to be the way. It's always worth trying these things out, I just haven't had a chance yet. Let me know your own thoughts on Mephisto down in the comments, and whether you will be trying out the Legion of the Lost affiliation. Make sure you subscribe for any future videos of this nature, along with painting guides for Mephisto and other MCP models. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and here's a look at the final model.